Okay, so we're going to talk about works cited today. This is for your cultural texts that you choose for your rhetorical analysis. So first of all, don't forget that you have to set up your page in a very particular way. So it's got to be on its own separate sheet of paper. Don't just stick this on at the bottom of the last page of your essay. It's got to get its own separate sheet of paper, and it should come at the end. It's got to be titled, so you've got to have the title works cited centered at the top of the page. The whole thing needs to be Times New Roman 12-point font, double spaced, and you'll need to set it up the way I have it here, where the first line is flush with the margin and any other lines get tabbed over. And I already mentioned that, so let's go to this one. So you have to alphabetize as well. So based on the very first letter in your works cited entries, alphabetize them. And just so you know, words like the and a and an don't count. So if this was the culture quake instead of culture quake, it would still be a C. So that's the way that you alphabetize them. I want to show you how it looks on an actual Word document because it doesn't look quite the same on that PowerPoint. So this is how it works. This is how you set it up. Center the words works cited. Go away, pop-ups. Okay, so center works cited as your title. The whole thing needs to be Times New Roman 12-point font. The title works cited, don't underline it, don't bold it, don't make it bigger than it's supposed to be. This is a very simple, clean looking page. So all of it, again, Times New Roman 12-point font. The very first line is flush with the margin, but if you go onto a second line, just hit that tab button. Now something that happens a lot to students is they hit tab and both lines tab over. All you have to do if that happens is hit backspace. And now it's not working for me. You can always hit enter or backspace, and usually that will fix the problems. So play around with it a little bit. If you're still having problems, you can always go to IT or a computer lab and ask someone, or you can just Google it and troubleshoot any weird formatting problems you have. You're also welcome to bring your laptop to me in my office hours or before or after class, and I'll try and help you get it figured out. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you've got it all put together. If you still have your Bridging the Difference book, I've got the page numbers where it shows you how to do all this stuff. If you don't have that, that's fine. I'm going to talk at the end about other options that you have, other resources available for you to look up how to do formatting for works cited. So please don't forget that some things get italicized and some things get put in quotation marks when it comes to titles. So over here on the left, I've got big things. Big things get italicized. So the name of a book, the name of a whole website, or a whole magazine or journal, documentary, movie, TV show, CDs, all these things are big things that can be broken down into smaller pieces. Big things get italicized. So big is spelled B-I-G. Think of that I in the middle as meaning italicized. That's a little trick to help you remember. Small things go in quotation marks. So things like an article from a book, or an article from a website, article from a magazine, individual TV episodes, individual song titles. So as you can see, these match up. A big thing is a book, small thing is an article from a book. Big thing is a CD title, small thing is a song from a CD. So hopefully that will help you remember. Again, small things, I think quotation marks, they look kind of cute. The word cute and quotation sound similar, so that should help you remember. Smaller, cuter things go in quotation marks. So don't forget this, because you will lose points if you are not properly italicizing and putting quotation marks around your titles. Do this not just on the Works Cited page, but also every time you mention that title within your essay. So let's briefly go over some of the main types of text that people are going to be using. So for a documentary or film or movie or whatever you want to call it, you want to have the name of it, the director, performers, host, or narrator, whoever it is who's starring in that movie, the production company, and the year it was released, and then the publication medium is just going to be film. So you can use that website, imdb.com, to find any of this information. So I'm just going to quickly show you what it looks like. So if we go to Transformers, we've got the name of the movie. All you have to do is type the name in here. This page will pop up. It shows us here's the year it was released. Here's the director's name. Here are the stars of the movie. And then if you scroll down underneath the cast and crew and some of these other things, you'll get to a place that says company credits. That's the name of the production company. Just pick whatever name is first, and that's going to be fine. So that's all of your information that you need to know for your Works Cited. And when you put it all together, it's going to look like this. So again, we've got the name of the movie in italics because it's a big thing. Our director, put DIR period to show that that's the director. The performers, you put PERF period, and then you can put the performers. As long as you have one or two, that's fine. Please put and if you have multiple people. DreamWorks is the name of the company, comma, the year it was released, and then film is the medium. So that's how you'll cite it for a movie or documentary. For TV shows, the title of the episode, and you should have an individual episode because remember you have to use quotes. So don't cite the entire show. I want you to cite an episode that your quotes come from. So the title of the episode, title of the show, the network or station, and that's things like Fox, NBC, ABC, HBO, the date that episode was aired, not the date you watched it necessarily. You can put the date you watched it, but the easiest thing is to just find the original air date and put that. And the publication medium, which is going to be television. So again, you can use imdb.com to find all of this information. For some reason, it doesn't show the network when you go to IMDb, but you can just Google that. If you Google the name of your show plus the word network, it will tell you what network it's on if you don't already know. So this is what it looks like when you put it all together. You have the title of your episode in quotation marks, because again, it's a small thing. It's a piece of something bigger. You have the title of your show in italics, because it's a big thing. You have the network. You have the original air date. And then you have the medium, which is television. So for a song, you need the artist's name, the name of the song itself, the name of the CD that song was released from, the name of the record company, the year that the CD or the song was released, and the publication medium. And Wikipedia is probably the easiest place to go to find this information. So if we go to Wikipedia, if we're going to do the Daft Punk song Get Lucky, so all I had to do was type in Get Lucky and song on Google, and the Wikipedia pops up. It tells me who it's by. It tells me what CD it comes from. It tells me the year. So this is the year the CD was released. Don't do when it was recorded, do when it was released, so 2013. The label, Daft Life and Columbia are both in there. You can do either one of those as the company. And so I think that's all the information that we need. So let's go back and see what it looks like when you put it all together. So when you put it all together, now notice I put Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams. Why did I do that? Because Daft Punk is not someone's name, it's the name of the band. So I put Miley Cyrus up here to show you that when it's an artist's name and they have a first and last name, this is how you'll do it. Cyrus, comma, Miley. But if it's the name of a band, or if it's someone who just has a first name, if it was Rihanna, obviously you would just put Rihanna, period, because she doesn't use her last name. And again, Daft Punk or whatever band name, there's no first and last name, so all you're going to do is put the whole name there. Even though Pharrell Williams has a first and last name, he is not the primary artist. So we're going to put Daft Punk featuring him. And so this is how you do it if it's a duet or a featuring or whatever. Then we have the title of the song in quotation marks because it's a small, cute thing that's a piece of something bigger. We have the name of the CD it's on in italics because that's a big thing. We have the name of the company that released it, that record label, comma, the year it was released, and then CD is the medium. Video games. So video games are interesting because MLA does not have a specific way to format a video game when you're citing it on a works cited. So I've kind of come up with my own that I think is the best way to do it and the way that I want you to do it if you're doing a video game. So do the title of the game, do the developer or the designer, put some of that information in there. The production company, that's the company that released it, the year it was released, and then medium, which is going to be video game. So again, Wikipedia is probably the best place to go to find this. So if you Google your game's name, Wikipedia will pop up and you'll get this nice little square or rectangle, whatever, over here. Developers, 343 Industries. Publishers, the publisher is going to be kind of the name of the production company. So we're going to use that as our company name. It's got the year that it was released, 2012, and so that's all the information that we're going to need. So let's go back and see what it looks like when you put it all together. So we've got the name of the game in italics, and I've taken this basically from the way that you cite a movie, because I think a video game is almost like a movie. And the only difference is instead of director, I've put developer here. So instead of DIR period, I've put DEV period. And then I've left out performers. So title of the game, italicized, developer, the company, Microsoft Studios, comma, the year it was released, and then video game as the medium. So if you're doing a video game, please use this format. If you added extra information in here, that would be okay, but I want all of these basic things in here. If you're doing another medium, a website, a speech, an advertisement, I'm going to give you some resources to go to on the next slide that you can use for knowing how to cite those mediums, but you can always come and ask me if you're not sure. I'm not going to go over them because most people do one of the other 4 mediums I've already talked about, and so it's only a very small percentage of people who need to go over the other kinds of mediums. So here are your resources. If you still have your Bridging the Difference book, the works cited information starts on page 39, so you can use that as a reference. If you don't have it, that's perfectly fine. Your other resources are going to be online. So the Purdue OWL website is a really good site. If you just type Purdue OWL into Google, it'll pop right up. In fact, I'll just go ahead and do that right now and show you what it looks like. So if we go to Google and type in Purdue, there we go, Purdue OWL, it's right there. It pops up, click on it, and then you're going to see something that says MLA style, or sorry, MLA guide down here. You click on that, and it's going to give you all kinds of information about how to do a works cited page, depending on what your source is. So this is a great resource for you if you don't have an actual book with MLA formatting. Websites like easybib.com, there's a lot of them. EasyBib just seems to be the most popular one, but these sites that are MLA works cited generators, you can use them, but use them with caution, because I would say they're only right about 50% of the time. So the problem with them is they're designed by people who are not English professors, and so they get things wrong. Also, sometimes there are weird technical glitches. So I've seen it do things like put the title twice or put periods and commas, mix those up. So can you use them? Yes, but please go back and double check them with the Purdue Owl or with a book or something like that if you want your works cited page to be correct. If you don't care about losing points, go ahead and use it and you don't have to check it. But if you want it to be correct, if you want to make sure that your works cited looks how it's supposed to, just double check these sites. So here's your writing assignment. I want you to make a correctly formatted works cited page for the two texts that you plan to use for your rhetorical analysis essay. Now, if you're not sure yet what two texts you're going to use, pick two texts that you're thinking about. Again, if you write on your paper, I wasn't sure yet, I haven't decided, I'm not going to give you credit for that. You have to turn in 2 works cited entries to get credit for this assignment. You can handwrite this, but if you handwrite it, formatting still counts, meaning I will take off points if you forget to format something correctly. So things still have to be indented, you still have to have works cited as your title at the top of the page, you still have to have your periods and commas correct. Underline things that should be italicized if you're going to handwrite, because it's hard to write in italics. So those are the rules for the online writing assignment. This will be due in the next class period. We'll look at it, talk about it, and I'll take it up and make sure that you're on the right track. If you have any questions, please email me. Otherwise, I will see you in class next week.